Hello, welcome to episode 25, technically, of No Holds Barred. That's Sal.
Good afternoon.
Sal's back, and I'm Don. And as always, we're going to take a look at all things political, social, and anything else we can think of. No Holds Barred. But yeah, welcome back to Sal after a mammoth bit of surgery in the week.
I vastly underestimated the severity of this surgery. I apologise for that, viewers. I thought I was going to be absolutely fine and done. And to be fair, I was okay to do it on Thursday. I just couldn't find my headphones because I left them in hospital, which is incredibly annoying. But as long as that's all I left there. But no, I had what I thought was going to be a little keyhole surgery to just clean out a little bit of debris from my spine, turned into a 17 staples, 3-inch massive open wound, and I feel like I've been hit by a truck. But all indications are good, and recovery is going fairly well. I mean, I can't use my hand for a couple of months, but apart from that, it's fine.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, it's good to have you back.
I might.
Yeah, I'll be. You sent me a picture of your scar. Well, it's not a scar, is it? Your open wound with the staples. I was like, oh, nice, thanks. Yeah, it's quite severe.
Nobody was expecting that. But then, doctors always, in my considerable experience, they always underestimate the level of pain you're putting forward, which is bizarre because genuinely sick people actually try and minimise what they're going through.
Yeah,
I am sure he said to me that it was supposed to be like an hour and a half operation, and it ended up being 4. Well, I told you so.
Yeah.
Anywho,
when I had my surgery a few years ago, it was back as well, but down the bottom, and my surgeon was Portuguese, obviously, because I had it in Portugal, and he came round the next morning. He said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "Well, I'm in quite a lot of pain." He's like, "Well, yeah, I put a really massive knife in your spine last night, so that's understandable." I'm like, thanks.
When you put it like that,
yeah. He was amazing, to be fair. It was lovely. But no, I'm glad you're on the mend.
I was a bit disappointed because I did a deal. I had a chat with the anaesthetist and I was like, look, I don't generally take drugs as much as I can help it because of history and stuff. But when I've had surgery, that's when I'll let myself have pain meds. That's when I'll have a treat. I said, so can you just make sure I wake up in a morphine haze, please? And she was like, yep, no problem. And it was only after I realised that they gave me nothing to wake up to because the surgeon needed to figure out what range of movement I had, and you can't be medicated with pain meds to do that. So I woke up and I was like, oh my fucking I couldn't even open my eyes. I was still asleep and my eyes were just streaming because I was in that much pain, crying. And then so they just kept pumping me. So I did all the movements I needed to do and everything was great. She says, like, that was such a weird half a hand. So he checked it and he was delighted, and then he was like, right, give her the morphine now, and they kept pumping it and kept pumping it and kept pumping it. And I used to be quite hardcore when it comes to these sorts of things, but I haven't had it in years, so I wasn't. And then everything they gave me to eat or drink for the next 24 hours came straight back up. Brilliant. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So, but then I got to come. Never mind. You say things and I'll react when I can form a sentence, and then that should go okay.
Right. Okay. Well, if anyone didn't, lots of people probably didn't bother watching my mini-sode that I put out by myself on Friday, but it was just a kind of précis of what we were going to talk about, just in case you missed, a little bit of no holds on a Friday. So it's weird though. I didn't think I'd be able to chat for too long to the camera to myself, like without you there. But I was just chatting away, and I had to physically restrain myself. Oh no, I had to restrain myself. One of my mates texted me the following day. Paul said, he's like, "Oh, it was very James O'Brien monologue." I was like, "Oh no." I'll take it as a compliment. I think. I don't think I gulp as much as he does. So I cough a bit, but he gulps all the time. Anyway, so
we all have our foibles, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what I was saying on my notes basically this week, reform, the Tories and reform. I mean, it's been nonsense last week with what's gone on. So I won't go through it in great depth because a lot of it, well, I will go through one bit in great depth, but most of it we can just gloss over, particularly the funny bit. And I'll put a video in. Might have done it. No, I haven't done it already. But I wrote an article on Substack, and I've coined the phrase Tice's tantrums because Richard Tice was on TV having a tantrum again this week. Last week it was to ITV about Asim Malhotra, wasn't it? He got really stroppy about that. He said, "Oh, don't slander reform. They've got nothing to do with us. He's got nothing to do with us." And then cut to the video of David
That's
Bull
not true.
introducing him at conference, saying, "This is the man that helped me write the reform health policy." It's like, sure, Richard. Anyway, this week's tantrum was on Sky News, and it was in response to Keir Starmer's Labour Party conference speech last weekend. Or was it Monday? Whichever. And yeah, he went on what is now called Ridge and Frost, but it was Sophie Ridge's show in the evening. I think they've moved to the morning on Sky now. And he was on, they gave him 3 minutes and 30 seconds solid to talk. Darren McCaffrey it was on this occasion doing the questioning. And he lied. He just made stuff up. He just lied. He just kept saying, Keir Starmer used the word take up arms and attack. Didn't, obviously. Go for the enemy. Didn't say it. He was just making shit up. And then, amazingly, the stuff that he'd made up was taking that out of context. It was just nuts.
And they didn't pick him up on any of it.
I said in my article, Darren McCaffrey, the interviewer, said, "Oh, I haven't got Keir Starmer's speech to hand," but I don't think he said that. And Tice just got even more wound up and stroppy. But you're a presenter on Sky News. Surely you're a producer. It took me 10 seconds to find the transcript of Starmer's speech. Yeah. Surely, this multi-billion pound sort of ecosystem around Darren McCaffrey could have put it in front of him and gone, "No, he didn't say that," within the 3 minutes 30 of Richard Tice's ranting. But they don't. They just let him rant. And as I said in my article, he'll be on again every single day, probably until the heat death of the sun.
Talking nonsense.
He's just got a free pass. It is, isn't it? So Tice and Yusuf have both been out in the media last week lying about everything to protect their boss, because Farage has got, let's say, questionable finances between us and Mr. Ethical and the finance guy and Reform Party UK Exposed on Twitter. We're all looking at it. And every time something comes up, they have the human shields of Zaya Yusuf and Richard Tice to just stand there and take the flak and then deflect. And Zaya Yusuf this week went on to say that, to deflect from another finance question to Farage, and said that, but Nigel's had his security downgraded by government by 75%. Has he? Why? What does that even mean? There's no context for 75%, is there? It's like, what's that? 3 people out of 4 he's lost, or one guy's lost 2 arms and a leg. What is it? Just not. But that lie, let's say it's a lie, because I think it is, led me to have a look at Nigel Farage's register of interests on the Parliament website. And I've been looking at this on and off for the last year because, mainly because I'm stunned about how much it gets paid by TV News.
Anyone.
And direct bullying. Yeah, basically. I made a nice little spreadsheet, as I like to do in my spare time. I love making little spreadsheets up. And when you put the numbers from his register of interests, which are a bit higgledy-piggledy on the website, it's hard to follow, but you put it into a spreadsheet. Not a spreadsheet, a spreadsheet. And break it down by month by month, since last August when he started being an MP. You can see there's a big glaring gap. So from April 2025 until September 2025, there's nothing. He hasn't declared any money. It just stopped. And that's...
You can't do that, can you?
No, you're not supposed to be able to do that. No, not at all.
Is this a principle that you're supposed to do this, or is it a rule, or is it a law?
No, it's a rule. It's a rule that's punishable, because Boris Johnson used to do it quite often, but he would just do it because he was lazy, been late and forgetful, whatever. And so he
His
would
PA
get...
isn't.
Well, Yeah, exactly. So, if you declare something late over the 28 days rule where you're supposed to declare a new interest, then you can be punished by you have to apologize to the house and correct the record. If you do it again or repeatedly do it 2 or 3 times, then you have to make a statement to the house. And Boris Johnson even had to go on some remedial training to learn how to do this. It's a bit like kind of schoolboy training.
Mm.
Starmer got caught out for it earlier in the year. And as I wrote in my article, he got hammered in the press, absolutely mullered with this Lord Ali stuff. Um, and, fair enough. If you can't stick to the rules, you deserve a bit of flack, obviously, for being
Yeah.
late. And it happens. Lots of MPs do it all the time with 1 or 2 declarations they miss off. Nigel
Mm.
Farage has missed off all of his declarations since April, every single one. So his regular incoming, sorry, that he would declare, mainly social media work on X, but then GB News. And his last GB News salary he declared was £63,506.20 for
That's
April
for
of
a
this
month,
year.
isn't
But
it?
obviously yeah, I know. No, it's sick. I mean, he's been paid from GB News just it on its own in 10 months, £313,293 just for GB News presenting. But he's obviously still presenting on GB News. He's on Friday, but he's stopped declaring the income from it, and he's stopped
How
declaring
any
his
of
social
this is
media
lawful is
income.
beyond me.
It's not. It just isn't. And I put it out on Twitter on Wednesday or Thursday, maybe. Wrote a big post about it, and it got a lot of
Mm.
traction. To be fair, there's sort of 500,000 people have read it
Mm.
and stuff, so it's good. But then I thought nothing happened. I know I got some traction from some big names. Emily Maitlis, hi Maitlis, give me a repost on it, and things like that. But it's like people are interested in seeing this because it's
Yeah.
really important. And I began to start doubting myself, thinking, have I missed something here? Is there a reason why he's allowed to get away with this? But then on yesterday, Kat Nealon in The Observer put out an article, which is very similar to what I've been writing the other day about Nigel Farage hasn't declared any earnings since April. I got a bit uppity about it because I thought maybe the Observer had nicked my article, but Kat Nealon reached out to me today on Blue Sky and sent me a message and said, no, that's not the case. She didn't want me to think that she'd nicked anything from me. It was just, we'd just happily written the same thing at the same time, which is absolutely fine. And I'm really glad that she did that because it's nice to get in touch with people like that. So, but it's
Yeah.
also nice that I said to her, and I said on Twitter as well, that I'm just relieved that I wasn't going a bit mad because I was thinking, why is this not such a big deal? And at least, the Observer are doing it,
Someone's
and Kat
picked it up.
at the
Yeah.
Observer has picked it up. And she said, yeah, she's been looking into this as well and she can't understand it. So the story is there, but why is it not being picked up by anyone else? I don't know. It's mad. So yeah. So Farage he's just not declared his any earnings. I did a bit of maths, rough maths. Where is it? That said, so that he's declared 10 months and then stopped. So I've averaged out his previous 10 months and divided it up by, per month. So if we're being generous to say he's missed 60 days, as in 2 months worth of declarations, it's more like 3, but I'm being kind on this occasion. That works
Mm.
out at £177,690 and 78 pence just for those 2 months that he's not declared. So if he add in another 100 grand, pretty much, he's probably not kicking the teeth away from £250,000 or over £250,000 that he's missed off his earnings. Now,
It
imagine
doesn't
that
make,
was Angela Rayner for a second. Go on, sorry.
well, exactly. No, it doesn't make sense to me because you would think somebody in his precarious position of having a lot of eyes on him now would A, be more careful about that sort of thing, but B,
Mm.
what has he got to gain from literally drawing more attention to himself?
Well, I've had lots of conversations with people on Twitter about it over the last few days since I put the post out, and some people have said, "Oh, maybe he's." There's about 3 options I'd say, and I think hubris is one. He just thinks he's like Trump. He's untouchable, which
Untouchable. Yeah.
he isn't. Yeah, he clearly isn't, but maybe he just feels like he is. The second option is that um, he's trying to make a campaign, make himself a victim of a campaign. Oh, woe is me! Look, everyone's out to get me again. That sort of thing. The other one, which maybe, but having spoken and read to what Kat Nealon put out in the Observer, the fact that he's under investigation for claiming he owned a fishing trawler, I thought perhaps was something. But I now don't think that can be the case. I think he's still
I don't,
way,
because
way, way in breach.
I mean, where are they even up to with that, and how do we find out?
We can't find out. I emailed let me get it right. Where are they? Sorry. Carry on. I'll find it. Yeah.
No, just
No, it's the Office for
budget
the Office of
responsibility.
Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. I emailed, and they don't have.
Okay.
Their policy is they will not comment on individual MPs,
Individual.
which is fair. Yeah, but that's their rules. They got back to me really quickly, which was nice of them. But then, yeah, they said no, sorry, we don't do that. So we have to wait and find out.
It's like you
Yeah.
said, though, if it was anyone in the cabinet doing that, the press would be on them.
Yeah,
But it's
it'd be front
Farage,
page
so
news
nobody.
every day.
Like, we still haven't dropped the law for our thing, have we? Where did her money come from?
No, exactly. We don't know. There was something Mr. Ethical put out about that yesterday, so maybe him, saying that her Farage's excuse that she comes from a wealthy family is bullshit because
She
parents
doesn't.
live in a 300. Yeah, parents live in a
Modest.
£300,000 house in Strasbourg. Yeah, normal, even borderline kind of, cheapish house. Not that means much, but it isn't like they live in a chateau like Farage kind of insinuated. So yeah, but it
And yet
stinks.
nobody will look into it. Well, yeah.
No,
We've got lots of
yeah,
things stink in this country.
very true, very true. So yeah, I mean, let's watch this space, and I'm glad that Kat got in touch with me from the Observer, and I'm
Yeah.
glad to know that because she said she's working on this a lot, and so that gives me hope, and it gives me at least a bit of more determination to keep going, because at least it is being recognised through the mainstream, even though it's taking forever to happen. At least someone's paying attention. Whether it comes to anything, God only knows.
And you've got someone that you can go, have you seen this? And then maybe, just maybe, it'll get reported on. God, I'm so sorry. I look like Ken Dodd reincarnated. I've only got one working arm, viewers, so I can't do makeup or hair, so apologies for that. And I can't wash my hair for another 4 days till I get my staples taken out.
Oh no, for the staples.
Feel
You
never
can put a funny filter on if you want. No, you look absolutely fine.
God, early Halloween edition.
Oh no, yeah, it's Halloween soon. We're gonna have to dress up for Halloween.
Okay.
No, not really. I don't do that very often. Yeah. So yeah, so that was Farage's finances and Tice's tantrums for this week. More, I'm sure, will come out.
Are you going to put that? I still need to put it on Twitter. The Andrew Neil interview with Tice. I watched it again last night just for fun. When a journalist accidentally did a journalism.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Do you want to say about it?
Oh no, didn't you mention it in the mini-sode that you did?
Yeah,
but
I've got my notes about it. Yeah.
Andrew Neil held Richard Tice's feet to the flames. That was it. But it's the type of thing we haven't seen. We're forever saying, why does no one do this? Well, he did. Somebody slipped up and did it. And it's a brilliant interview. If you want to see Tice get annoyed. You're right, though, what you said the other day. No other journalist could have done that to Tice without him losing his shit. But because
Yeah,
it's
right.
Andrew Neil,
Exactly.
who's like legacy, there was just no
Mhm.
way he'd dare upset him, which is interesting.
Exactly. Definitely not. Isn't it? I know that's the thing. As I said on the little mini thing, that if it had been Sophie Ridge or Beth Rigby or Laura Koonsberg or one of the women
Oh, he just
who are right at the top
whapped
of the
out the misogyny.
political journalism at the moment. Yeah, exactly. No, he would have shouted them down within 2 or 3 minutes.
Mm.
But no, yeah, I'll put it in the mini but I'll put a link in this one as well because it's so worth a watch. It's 14 minutes of
More of this sort of thing.
eight.
Oh.
Yeah, please. In Andrew Neil, well, I have my disagreements with Andrew Neil. Literally, he and I have chatted on Twitter about things about Rachel Reeves predominantly, and we always disagree. But on this, he was excellent. He was
Yeah.
properly good at his job in this interview. So yeah, have a watch because Tice talked himself round in circles, didn't he? He kind of just
Mm.
Andrew Neil would just put out a little bait. Tice would take it, and then Neil would wait for him to trip himself up and just go in and go,
Yeah.
wow, but a minute ago. And it went on for 15 minutes.
Yeah, and that
It was
happened
such a
about
joy.
6 times. Yeah. It was just like playing cat and mouse on it. It was ridiculous. Yes,
It was
but Mr.
fantastic
Tice,
to
you
watch.
still haven't answered my question. I've just given you 3.5 minutes. You still didn't answer the question.
Yeah, exactly. And he did what he did. He
Amazing.
ended up doing what Farage did on LBC a couple of weeks ago. He started changing the figures mid-interview and started changing like his answers and stuff. It's like these people are not serious
Oh.
politicians, and it doesn't take very much to prove that. So yeah, let's have more of what Andrew Neil did, please. It would be lovely to
Mm.
see. Yeah.
Oh.
The other thing about reform, which like astonished and flabbergasted and still can't get my head around, is that the only newspaper I've seen run with this story properly is Byline Time, is the
Oh.
fact that
Oh, the girl
Reform
story.
was receiving money from Russia. If that
Oh,
was
it's been
if
all over Europe.
any, yeah, and America, it was on the
It's
New York Times and all sorts.
yeah. But here, nothing. Nothing suspicious to
Yeah,
see here. It's
it's
incredible, isn't it?
absolutely mad. I know.
Literally a
So
traitor in the ranks, and nothing.
yeah, so let me find it because I want to just talk about it a little bit. Oh,
Actually,
not talk
just
about it, but I want.
just
Go on.
wanted to mention I was watching Tice be interviewed. It might have been. Oh no, it might have been the same Andrew Neil thing. The other thing I pulled from it, he's sitting there wanging
Yeah,
on about how reform aren't going to give benefits to immigrants by any stretch. That
yeah,
none of them get benefits at all. Um,
yeah,
and he was wanging on about how taking from the taxpayers' money and not contributing to anything to this country.
yeah,
You've just moved to Dubai to evade tax. You hypocritical
mm,
little shit. How dare you? What
yeah.
do you contribute apart from misery?
I know, it's mad.
To hide on the man.
Yeah, I know. Tice is also, before just when he got elected as an MP, and then before he sort of took up his position officially,
Mm.
hoiked a shitload of millions of pounds into an offshore trust as well to avoid scrutiny. He's one of the prime candidates that I'm looking at because
The
in the
hypocrisy
electoral
knows no
commission,
bounds.
yeah, but in the electoral commission database, which is another fun thing to look through when you're bored, the, there's there's someone we talked about last week, which was Christopher Harborne, as being the biggest
Mm.
donor to reform. But Richard Tice's company, Tyson, Tisun, have donated many, many more times, and are almost at the same level. They're in the millions of pounds that his company gives to reform to keep them afloat. So Tice's money is keeping reform afloat. It absolutely reeks. Um, yeah, it's crazy. So Tice and Zaya Yusuf,
Mm.
they're on the donation sheet as like the third or fourth and fifth, I think, highest donors to the party. So, and something else that came out about them today, which I haven't even had a chance to look at, is that Mr. Ethical put out that Nick Candy, supposedly the treasurer, of Reform MP, of Reform UK, but actually on Companies House, it's someone else called Edward Chalmers or Charters or something. I'll have a look at it in the week. But yeah, it's all smoke and mirrors reform, the whole thing. And I think we're getting close to finding out. We're making dents into their kind of hall of mirrors in the circus that they run. So we should
It's like
keep it up.
nothing else. Yes.
It's bizarre. Very bizarre. So yeah, let's quickly go back into Nathan Gill. So, and if anyone's not is listening and doesn't know what happened, Nathan Gill was, well, according to Richard Tice, Zaya Yusuf, and Nigel Farage, they didn't know him. But obviously, since then, there's been hundreds of pictures of Nathan Gill with all three, with Tyson Farage, because he goes back to UKIP and he worked for UKIP. Now, I wrote a post last week. It was in response to Alex Phillips, her of Talk TV fame and Cambridge Analytica fame and Brexit fame. She was Nathan Gill's media advisor when he was at UKIP, which I didn't know.
Wow, what a small world.
So I said in my post that we know that Alex Phillips worked for Cambridge Analytica and was the media advisor to Nathan Gill. That's a fact.
And lied about it.
Yes. Oh, she lied about the Cambridge Analytica bit, definitely. And then some other names I'm in the public domain that link Cambridge Analytica to Russia. Now, I'm careful what I've said here, but I'm just listing names. Christopher Wiley, Alexander Kogan, Lukoil, the company, Paul Manafort in the US, Konstantin Klimnik, Steve Bannon, and Alexander Nix. Now, they're all linked between Cambridge Analytica and Russia. All of those names connect. And Alex Phillips, I'm not saying she's got anything to do with Russia because I don't want to be sued, but she definitely worked for Nathan Gill and she definitely worked for Cambridge Analytica. If there's a link, you make it in your own head,
she's
please,
coloured.
listeners. Yeah. So, we can prove now that Reform are taking money from Russia, and it's a matter of fact now. It's a matter of record.
Yeah.
Not that you know it. Again, if you looked at the newspapers, you wouldn't know. If it was, the 90s or something, there'd be some massive headline up, Reform bribed by Russian baddies or something. Be all over the
especially
red
in the Sunday papers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I put out this morning. It's like, why is it? There's nothing here. There's not a single thing in the Sunday papers about it. In fact, the Daily Mail have gone so far as to put out a headline about Angela Rayner's bloody finances again.
You're joking.
It's no headline of the Mail on Sunday this morning. More Labour sleaze. Rayner is taking us for a ride. Massive letters. I mean, it's crazy. When there's an actual politician in the UK taking money from Russia, and this is about Angela Rayner having a BMW and letting her boyfriend Tarry use it. It's mental.
Yeah.
But it's front page. So I don't know. I don't know what we do because there's obviously something. There's an omerta in the background of the media that they won't talk about this stuff.
We need to get rid of foreign-owned press operating in this country.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do. National emergency at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. It really is. It would be such a massive win for Labour if they did something like that. They could just, annihilate all these issues coming from the far right, from America, from the Bannon farm and all that lot. They could just kibosh it straight away, couldn't they?
But they must be in on the omerta, as you put it. And that's why they're not.
Exactly.
Because there's just no other explanation at this point.
There isn't. It's Occam's razor,
spent
isn't it?
A decade exhausting them all and waiting and hoping, and it's just.
I think, as you've said millions of times on this podcast, release the Russia report. That would be a start, and then put a ban on foreign-owned press. Yeah, those two things would result in a much more equitable and peaceful country, I would suggest.
Yeah. And, no one needs to lose any jobs. People would just set up operations here, but they would be owned here. They would be taxed here. they would be subject to new and strict laws. Reading the Hillsborough Bill, the little bit I did read of it, it's basically just another law to make sure people do their fucking jobs. It's baffling to me.
Yeah, it is.
But all of everything is trying to stop wrong'uns doing wrong things. It's fucking mad.
You know. Yeah, someone asked me about the Hillsborough law on Twitter this week, and I've got it in my notes, and they asked me, am I right in thinking that when the Hillsborough law comes into effect, it will go some way to combat misinformation spread on social media? And I said this in my little mini-sode, I don't think that's true. That will happen, unfortunately. It's more about public officials than anything else, as you said, just doing their job properly. And they're not then, it's technically, they're not supposed to lie. A legal duty of candor, it says, but don't know.
It is the law to tell the truth. Fuck me.
Yeah, basically, you're employed as an elected MP to represent your constituency to the country and the world, but we have to tell you not to lie by law. It's fucking mad. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what shakes out when it goes through the, the legislative process of the houses, but I'm not holding out a huge amount of hope for that, so we shall see.
No.
But you had something along those lines, didn't you? You wanted to talk about briefly. Briefly. Sorry, that's not what I meant. But
oh no, I mean I haven't got a lot in me, have I, at the minute? It was just about I hadn't realised, but they've been phasing out BOGOFs and multi-buy offers for a long time, because I probably don't go shopping that often that I pick up on it so much, because I go as infrequently as possible. But they're officially banned now, BOGOF items. And it's all in like the mass-produced shit food industry. And it's essentially penalising poor people again. So they're taking bulk buying away from poor people by way of saying we're trying to make you healthier, except they're not making healthy food any cheaper. And it's all still really expensive. So what?
Fucking no, another.
Yeah,
because when you texted me about it last week and said, "Oh, well, let's have a chat about this," but I didn't even know that was happening until you'd said about it. It was like they've kind of kept it quiet, but as you say, it's impacting the very hardest hit already in society, as every fucking other policy does at the moment. It's such a load of
madness.
Shit. I know. I get the point. Go on.
No, I was just going to say we do need a much healthier outlook in this country, but unfortunately, you've got people who, people who are working don't have a minute, and they will reach for the least stressful option, which won't necessarily be the healthiest option, because they're knackered, and because they're not getting as much nutrition as they might require. They're even more knackered, and it compounds over time. It's the slow titrating effect of austerity. And this is not the way of fixing that. This is just penalising poor people again, whilst ensuring maximum profit for the fucking big corporations that manufacture this shit.
Yeah, that's it.
The BOGOF wasn't then doing you a favour. It was all costed out. It sounded like it was a favour, but it wasn't. It just meant it was more expensive to buy one item, which in and of itself is rage and manipulation. But that's how it all fucking works, isn't it? Oh, I hate capitalism.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's just the poor people get it in the neck again, and the corporations get to maximise the profits. And it stinks. But what they have done is they've banned. Now, don't quote me on this, but I think they banned junk food advertising until after the watershed.
Yeah, after 9 p.m.
Yeah. Which, okay, fine. Don't really have a dog in the fight, don't care. Don't like adverts, full stop.
Yeah,
but if you can have that amount of control over the advertising industry, and then you can bring in the Hillsborough Bill, and you can force people by law to tell the truth and do their fucking jobs, then you can do that to the media. That's all I'm going to say about that. That was my point. So there we go.
Yeah, no, absolutely dead on.
And here we come full circle for about the third time already, because everything's connected.
It's all linked, isn't it? But it's
Hmm.
the thing you said a minute ago, that the fact that the point of it is worthy and well intentioned. Well, let's not say that. Let's take. I want to strike that from the record. It's worthy point, trying to make people healthier and eat better, obviously. But the thing you said before, which is that healthy food is still not coming down in price. It's not affordable to a lot of
Yep.
people, like to buy, you know, fresh fruit and vegetables. If they really put a kibosh, for the second time I've used that word now, but on the prices of fresh food,
Mm.
then it works, right? That's it. It's a policy that works, but they haven't done that, and they won't do that
I mean,
because,
I'd
again, as you
I'd say
say,
that
Tory greed.
the world is in such economic straits. I would personally put a moratorium on profiteering for a bit. As a
Mm,
one-off, a
very
bit like
nice.
World War II and all that, just a one-off. If we have like 5-year
Yeah,
moratorium on being a greedy, greedy, greedy bastard, and then we can reequate finances a bit. The economy, that's what I meant.
God, can you
Ooh.
imagine?
Um,
Yeah,
I
it
mean, but it's not
would be
splitting the
such a
atom. It is something that, feasibly, they won't obviously ever do it, but they could.
yeah. Oh yeah, they could easily,
It's just
as you say, they can.
insane to me.
I know. Yeah, we have such a problem with eating like junk food in in this country. I mean, it's obviously not as bad as the US, but because it's cheap. I mean, what can you do when people can't afford to do anything else? It's just mad. They'll buy
Yeah,
cheap frozen food or cheap junk food because it's cheap, and you could
yeah.
until last week get like buy one get one free on whatever. Might have been, but now you can't.
You might as well just put a massive, like, stealth tax on junk food that goes straight to the NHS, because that's what's happening. People aren't eating well
That would
enough,
be
so they're
good.
getting sick,
Oh yeah,
you know?
absolutely
I mean,
right.
even,
That's a bit.
just just being a bit anemic, you can go and get flu. And if,
Mm,
or like pick up COVID and then you've got long COVID and, all just because you didn't have enough vitamins going through your system because you haven't been looking after yourself well enough because you're
absolutely right.
exhausted and knackered living through dystopia. So
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a long story of me being quite severely anemic a few years ago. It was actually during COVID, and I got sick constantly. I was having to go to hospital for iron infusions and stuff. I was that low on my iron, and but yeah, it's exactly like you say as you describe it. I was getting ill all the time, and it's really bad for you. And that wasn't through nutrition reasons. That was medical reasons, which I'm
Yeah.
not going
Oh,
into.
there's
But
loads of reasons. Yeah.
um, yeah, yeah, and but it's a horrible condition to have, and if it's because you can't afford to eat properly, it's just fucking. It would be devastating, as you say, with the illnesses that you can pick up so
Mm,
quickly, and you have no energy. You short of breath all the time. It's I this has lived experience for me. It's an awful situation to be in. So
yeah.
yeah, well,
Uh,
rough. Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. So that's another tick in the no, another cross in the box for negative policy decisions that Labour have made, unfortunately. Although I think it went
Mm.
through Tories, this one, to be fair, but yeah, I don't know. Regardless, they could have put an end to it, couldn't they? I was just looking at my notes and came up on Twitter there. It's Florence Locks on Twitter and George
Oh,
Galloway.
Flo. Oh, have you not?
Yeah. Oh God, she's
Oh,
been
be still
being
my beating
abused by
heart.
George Galloway. Yeah.
No,
Oh, she's brilliant,
did
isn't she?
she tagged me on that? Is
Yeah, I've
that
just seen it.
are
Yeah.
you? Yeah. No,
If
she got. What,
She's
she's
called
so
she's
good.
called George Galloway. She said to George Galloway, "Shut it, Baldy," and he's replied and said, "A woman with 31,000 followers writes." Like what? And then she tagged you and said, "Right, Sal, where's my Turner Prize?" I
Oh,
was like,
I've never been so proud of her. She's fabulous. To get retweeted
"She
by
is
George
excellent."
Galloway insulting himself is quite something. Uh,
Yeah, that's
it's
that's brilliant. That
factually
I've just
accurate.
it is,
Mm.
it is. I was just trying to get to my.
Oh.
And there's two other things I'd wanted to chat about. Right. Also,
Mhm.
let's announce to everybody, because you and I chatted briefly before the pod.
Oh
We're
yeah.
going to go twice a week now. Last couple of weeks we put out mammoth episodes, like hour and a half, 2 hour long. Magnus Opie, is that the right word? I don't know. But
Hardly.
magnum opus, whatever it is. I can't speak Latin. Anyway, and I think they're too long, and I think we're going to cut down to 45 minutes to an hour twice a week.
Yeah.
So that'll be exciting. So we're going to do this. I'll get it out tomorrow, and then we'll do one again on Thursday for Friday. So you'll get us hopefully every Monday and every Friday now. Quite
Coming in
excited.
your ears.
Yeah. Yeah, as Alan Partridge would say.
Peter
So that
Kay.
with that, yeah. Was it Peter Kay? I thought it was Partridge that did
Yeah.
that one.
No. Surely
Oh,
FM.
Peter Kay. Oh, of course it is. Surely FM. Yeah, of course it is. Anyway, so like with that being said, I've got two small ones that I want to just
Mhm.
round off with, and then I'm done if that's cool.
Yeah.
One
I'm
was
not
from
much use
today.
this week.
Nah, yeah, it's absolutely fine. Where is it? I've lost it now. Yeah, oh, there it is. One was from today, and did you see? When was it? October the 3rd. So that was 2 days ago. You might not. You might have seen it. I don't think you retweeted it. Like basically, the Israel's Minister of Diaspora and Combating Anti-Semitism has reached out and is hosting Tommy Robinson / Stephen Yaxley Lemon in Israel, and it's quite a shock actually. I think this because
Ta-da!
everyone knows it. Go on,
He's
go
just
on.
unveiled himself, hasn't he? Like we didn't know.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, people have been talking about him working for Israel for a long time, and it looks like he's out with that. But I kind of wrote something this morning saying that has Tommy Robinson actually managed to achieve some sort of good for the country by accident? Because I have seen roundly every single part of the conversation on Israel on X at least have been critical of this, and everyone's absolutely shocked and enraged because maybe this has just sort of shone a bit of a light
What are they
on
shocked at?
the far right. Sorry,
What are they shocked at?
it's just the anger that he's been invited by the Israeli government basically to Israel. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? So I think, like, I saw Melanie Phillips right on Twitter this morning, which made me think about it, and I thought she wrote a piece about saying this isn't right. This is not acceptable for Jewish people to be represented by Tommy Robinson, and that's in the board of I've got to get the
Oh.
deputies board of deputies also put out a post saying this was not acceptable. So there's every corner of the conversation on Israel has kind of rounded on this and gone, no, what the fuck are you doing? So I just wondered, and it's brought some people together. So Tommy Robinson's and as an Israeli government have accidentally put a bit of unity into this conversation in Britain, which I thought was quite interesting.
I wonder what. Oh. Because God, because a lot of thinking about it, like his base are just
Like,
anti-Islam, aren't they? Which
for the most
for
part,
a lot of them,
yeah.
will mean that they're like either Jewish or pro-Judaism. So
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna splinter further.
Possibly, yeah. Possibly, yeah. But it certainly brought together the right wing commentators on who have been up to this point very pro Israel.
Mm.
I've seen an awful lot of them like getting really upset about this because this is the Israeli government person representative publicly attaching themselves to Tommy Robinson. So the guy's a toxic mess, isn't he? So what are you gonna
Yeah.
do? It's interesting. Yeah,
Oh, it is. It is
he
very interesting. Oh,
he hate. What's up?
No, it's all right. Just Miss Staples pull.
Oh,
So,
so I shouldn't laugh. I just I've been through it, and I know what it's like. I'm sorry. I should have more empathy than
I
that.
apologise. I'll behave.
Yeah, I might have it coming up soon as well. Anyway, I'll get my MRI results back next week, so we shall hope find out as well. But anyway, the last thing I wanted to mention, because I've got one other thing, but I'm going to save it for Thursday because it's a bit longer, is some news reports and some posts on X, Twitter, on Thursday from Twitter, no, from a conservative commentator, quite a well-known one, called, well, reasonably well-known anyway. He put an announcement out about a fast-rising movement within the Conservative Party. The NCR is offering the most coherent plan yet to reverse Britain's economic drift. Tough borders, cheap and reliable energy, oh, I can't say that. Reindustrialization, a house building revolution, and more ownership. And then a picture of the MPs. And I think we briefly chatted about this before we decided that you couldn't get your headphones. But it's headed up by Robert Jenrick, and it features Nick Timothy and Katie Lamb, who we've already mentioned on the pod a few times. And I just found it. Robert Jenrick is the public face, an unusual hybrid of a comms operator and a fluent politician. I'm just reading this, obviously. These are not my words. And Nick Timothy is the
politician.
intellectual. Yeah.
What's a fluent politician?
Who knows? But then it says Nick Timothy is the intellectual ballast of the group. Jesus, that doesn't give you much hope. And then Katie Lamb, a political firecracker, apparently. So, and then I saw the very same afternoon an article, I think maybe the Spectator or the Telegraph, saying that Robert Jenrick was rounding up votes to the 1922 committee in order to out Kimmy Badenoch right on the eve of conference. Okay. So yeah, I just think
nothing surprise you would do with them.
I think she's got minutes rather than days, weeks, or months left. Kimmy Badenoch. I think she's ready to be out the door after conference. I think we said about it before the summer. I think we said conference. If she gets the conference and it's still not improved, that'll be the day she goes. And it seems like the writing's on the wall for her now.
I struggle to care, to be honest.
Yeah,
I feel like until 27, I don't really need to. They can just get in the bin. I hate them all.
Yes.
They're hopeless. They're just terrible people, aren't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, just Sky's strapline. She's telling party conference only the Tories can bring the UK back together, and says they can win the next election. Delusional. I think we mentioned.
Well, they might, but not with her.
Yeah. No.
Excuse me.
Don't say things like that.
No, you know. Yeah, the papers have all. She had a load of media blitz this morning and yesterday afternoon about announcing that only the Tories will lead the ECHR. I'm sure you nicked that from somewhere, Nigel Farage perhaps, and how they were going to deport more people than reform. You know, if that's your best line, you're fucked. Sorry.
It's pathetic.
Yeah, it is. I think that's exactly what it is. Pathetic. So yeah, so that was it. I think
we should probably just mention that there's been I don't know where we're up to just yet, a suggested peace deal in Palestine.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
I know there's a lot we could talk about around that, but just I feel we should slip it in there because it's quite important.
It is very important. You're right.
Whether the hostages will be returned by Thursday or not is another matter. But that is Hamas's last card, isn't it, that they hold? So I fear for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I don't trust the West or Israel, or America.
No, it's just it seemed good when it came out, and everyone was making the right noises, weren't they? And Hamas said they would release all the hostages, alive and dead, and but they've not agreed to quite a few parts of the deal, as in disarming or stepping away from government of, well, the sort of pseudo government they run in Palestine. So, and then Trump did his usual last night, didn't he? Sort of said, "Well, we're gonna send nuclear missiles and bomb you out if you don't do this," basically. So I don't. Yeah, we'll know more by Thursday. Let's get everything crossed because something needs to happen. It's just horrendous.
Yeah.
So I hope it does. But the noises have changed in 2 days. So.
According to the strapline, Trump says that Palestine will face complete obliteration if Hamas refuse to leave power. So
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. That's where the sticking point is. And they have to disband, disarm, and leave power. And I think that's a red line, isn't it, for them? But we'll see. I don't know. I don't think Trump will nuke them.
They're stuffed if they don't. They're stuffed if they do.
Yeah, that's very true.
And who the fuck trusts Israel?
Yeah, well, no.
Nobody in their right mind, anyway. It's horrendous.
No, it is horrendous. Either way, let's say Hamas do agree, which I can't see. That's the point, isn't it? Do you think Israel then going to withdraw out of the whole IDF out of Palestine and let them rebuild their own country? Of course they're not, are they? Trump's already got his eyes on the, what is it, Gaza City, Riviera, Trump casinos and all that shit that he wants to put in. So,
and of all the people to head it up, Tony Blair. I mean, you couldn't make it up. You couldn't fucking make it up.
I know, I'm laughing, but it's
so
such
appalling.
a terrible situation. I know. Yeah, Trump and Blair headed up. What have they called it? The Coalition of Peace or something they called it.
Oh, yeah, Coalition of the Willing.
Yeah, I think that's the Ukraine one. I think they called it the Coalition of Peace. I think that's what they've said. I don't know. We'll have more on this on Thursday because I think we'll know a lot more by Thursday, won't we? So yeah, let's park that and let's come back to it in a bit more detail on Thursday. Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, have you got anything else?
No. Just to hope that I'm making more sense on Thursday. I feel very out of it right now. It'll be all the drugs.
Yeah. Completely natural. It's been 5 days since you had your spine cut open.
It's healing well.
So, yeah.
Healing really well as well, so that's good.
Excellent. That's good news. Cool. Yeah. Well, keep up the rest. That's the main thing with this.
Yeah.
Just got to keep moving, but then get as much rest as you can after you've moved, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the balance you have to strike.
Keeping up with physio, so it's fine.
Good.
I just want my hand back. It's so weird. It's like those 3 feel like they've been sat on for 5 years, and I can sort of feel them, but not really. These 2 are fine.
Yeah.
But I get, obviously I've got dropsy now if I pick something up forgetting and then it falls straight on the floor because my arm's very weak.
Oh no. Yeah,
that's as high as it'll go. So, yeah.
All right.
Fun.
It'll come back.
Yeah.
Well, I think you've done brilliantly. I think if I do have to have mine, I'll I don't know if I'll be as resilient afterwards as you've been. So we shall see. I'm a bit of a wuss when it comes to stuff like that. So.
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
Cool. Right. Shall we leave it there and come back again on Thursday?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
We shall have more for you on Thursday. Please like, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. Thank you very much.
Yes. Cool. Thanks for listening. We will be back on Thursday/Friday. See you then.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.